It's a song, Tanner.
Oh, I'm ready today, baby.
It's a Santana and my show. Number 89, hustle all the time. Travis on the right, hot mic on the left. Every single week, it's a lyrical fact.
Now I'm ready to go.
Let's go, Tanner. Santana Mall Show, episode 12. Man, this is podcast heaven, baby.
We popping.
Episode 12. Our name is ringing in these streets, too. People talking about this podcast, Tanner, man.
Already.
I got to give you props, man, because, when I'm here and I don't have much sleep, I'm not very pleasant to deal with. You are here today with no sleep, and you are just a walk in the park.
Early, man. Well, I got to give my man Rob a little props, man, because he took care of me in a way that I'm not going to share. I can share. I just chose not to share, you know. I had a quicker picker-upper, and, now normally we think of that as Downey, but Rob came through for me, and I'm here, man. I was up here early taping on someone else's podcast and had a great time. It was a great show, and when you came in, I told you I was oiled and lathered.
Ready. Oiled and lathered,
up, baby.
Ready to go. Why are you on no sleep, Tanner? Can we talk about this?
Well, you know what? I can't even blame it on the kids because the family is up. You know, I've been living like a damn
Bachelor.
Like I was in college all over again. I remember my mom just coming up here a couple of weeks ago, and she looked in the refrigerator and was like, "No wonder you so skinny, boy. You ain't eating nothing." You know, me and my oldest is up here living rough.
PB&J sandwiches.
Man, you know, I got a different diet these days, so I'm not trying to bring in nothing in the house that I don't want to, have those munchies later for and go to eating. So, but the family's here. Everyone's in town. And my youngest, which would be 2 tomorrow on the 27th.
That Sagey?
Yeah, little Sage, man, Sagey Pooh. She's a live wire, man. She's up. And even when I'm trying to sleep, I take things, and I'm not, ashamed of saying that because I have the worst sleeping pattern. I still can feel her presence in the bed, just thumping around and saying something. Oh, there you go, Daddy, there you go. She got her little thing when everything she want to show you, she say, oh, there you go. So I love it because I'm like, man, every one of my kids have their own little different little thing that they do that stands out. And she has this little thing about her, like she has these little pup dolls, and this is a little cartoon she watches. I think the dog's name was Bingo and Rolly. And she be like, oh, they go Rolly, Daddy. They go, you see Bingo? And I'm laughing, so I have to get into character with her all the time. And, you see Bingo? Sage, you see Bingo? And it's like, oh, there you go. And so, yeah, she, I can't blame it on her last night. My day yesterday was rough.
Crazy. It was crazy.
Different.
I was
we
with
had
you
a different
for,
day.
Yeah.
And so normally what I do on schedule, I have a pattern now with things I do.
Yep.
I've scheduled everything. My eating plan is basically scheduled and mapped out. Yesterday, I didn't eat lunch until 4.
Wow.
And everything I did after that was delayed. So when I finally got a chance to work out, I was at night. And I woke up from a nap, and I decided, okay, now it's time to get this workout in. And so I pushed everything back.
Right.
And then I went to jot my notes down for today. And before you know it again, I do 2 workouts normally. So my second workout didn't start until 12 midnight.
Oh.
So when I got in, this morning, which was like 1-ish, now I have to prepare my shake and my everything.
Your
I
whole
do.
routine.
The whole routine is I'm routine. I'm a product of what I know, and that's what I do. Everything is scheduled and mapped out. And before I know it, I was getting to bed. It was after 2. So I can't blame it on the baby, even though I want to try to. But I just want to say and give her a little shout out because I know it's a special day coming up soon. But that's basically really, really why I'm kind of I needed that quicker picker up, and I appreciate my man Rob for that.
Tanner is still a creature of habit. You could tell he's an athlete because, everything is regimented, everything is a routine, and if it's thrown off, it throws his whole life off. And I'll tell you what, us average Joes out here who just like to work out to stay in shape, if our day gets screwed up, none of us, I could speak for all us average Joes, are working out at midnight. It just didn't happen that day. We're just not working out that day. We're skipping a day.
Man.
It shows the difference between your average Joe and a world-class athlete. It drives me crazy when callers of my radio show or if I'm at a bar having a drink and and your average Joe starts criticizing athletes.
Yeah.
Like, oh, why didn't he make that catch? Why didn't he make? You couldn't do that if I paid you.
Yeah, I tell them all the time. And it's funny you bring that up because I've been the guy on the other side of those calls or the other side of that paper reading someone criticizing what you do. No, that's your job. I understand that. I'm not one of those guys that get too uptight for what you're doing as your profession. Now, if you're wrong, then I have something to,
of course,
I have a bone to pick with you, but I might not even bring it up to you because I understand it's your job. That's what sells. Be negative, do what you do. But I do have a problem with guys that call in or guys that see you out in the street and tell you how to live your life.
Yes.
Now, brother, if I had to come and sit in or be a fly on the wall at your job, would you be there on time?
Right.
Would you be doing your job?
Yeah.
Would you be not texting or doing something else while you on
That's
duty?
right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So I used to get a kick out of hearing everyone's opinion about what you should do.
Mm-hmm.
I understand it because that's what we paid to do and all that. I understand it, but we have those days. You're gonna have those days where the guy across from you is getting paid to do the same thing.
Yeah.
And he's gonna be better, and he's gonna be the guy that can put a hope to what you've been doing. That's been probably to your fans, thinking that you can do everything easily. You know, these guys get paid opposite of you to do things to stop you from being that guy. So I used to always get a kick out of hearing people say that because I understand they just really don't understand.
Absolutely. All right, so I want to jump to, you talked about how yesterday was kind of crazy for you. I was actually with Santana yesterday for the Fair Play Day at the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Washington in Southeast D.C. What an event. Santana and I were there, NBC Universal, United Way, Comcast. And we were there yesterday speaking to the kids about pursuing their dreams and staying in school and all the good stuff. And it was quite a day.
Yeah.
I feel like we touched a lot of young people's lives yesterday.
Yesterday was something that, that's my passion. My passion is to always get in front of these kids and explain to them the importance of, wanting to do more, wanting to be more, wanting to be successful,
right,
and wanting to be able to not settle for what they see. You know what I'm saying? I know you look at those kids, man. I mean, I'm pretty sure you saw it. Some of them were sleeping in front of us.
Yep.
And it just, you have to understand, you have to tip your hat off to anybody that's in a position to have your kid when you don't have them, whether she's a teacher, a coach, someone coaching at the Boys and Girls Club. It takes a lot for you to sit up there and try to, get the attention of someone else's kid and have their attention for the whole entire time that you have them. I get a kick out of being able to share my story, the path that it took for me to be where I'm at. Because you got a couple of kids in there, like that one kid that gave us all the great questions. And then you have some kids that just don't know why you there. They don't really get it right now. They're too young to understand it. And like I said yesterday, I didn't want to call anyone out, but I like seeing that kid. I like seeing that kid because that's the kid that need this message more than anything.
Right.
That's the kid that's not getting it from someone else at a higher, level than them, whether it's a guardian, a parent, you name it. They're not giving them enough to let them know that whenever someone's in front of you speaking, give them your undivided attention. Give them, even if you're not interested in what they're talking about, give them your eyes, give them your attention. Sit up straight in that chair. Listen to what's been, given to you because you never know where it's going to take you down the line. So I appreciate yesterday like no other. I appreciate Comcast. I appreciate NBC. I appreciate United Way for doing what they did to that, for that Boys and Girls Club because they're the future. I say that time and time again. It's cliche because they are, and it's not a surprise. It's not something that we can't say, but they are our future.
Absolutely.
And if we don't get to them now, it's no telling what they're going to be down the road and what their chain of thought is going to be. So I was happy and pleased to be a part of it because I get a chance to share with them some of the moments that I've had sitting in those seats and not paying attention. But I've always tried to make sure I pay attention. But some of the people that didn't pay attention and where they are and where I'm at.
Yeah, it was a fulfilling day for me in the sense that, Tana got to tell his story about coming up through athletics and making a better way for him and his family. But I also provided the outlook of, hey, look, I played sports too when I was young, wasn't good enough to go the route of a Santana Moss, but I figured out a way to kind of take my God-given abilities to talk a lot, and my love for sports and my passion for sports, and make that into a career as well. So it was a great day, I think, for them, but also for us too.
Yeah, no doubt.
I got a lot out of it, and then we had a chance after we spoke with them to they had some stations set up where it was like dribbling drills, shooting basketball drills, a cone shuttle drill, and then a 40-yard dash.
40-yard sprint.
These kids were amazing athletes, Santana.
There's a lot of them out there, man.
Unbelievable.
And like
you were coaching up too.
One of the things that I get a kick out of, it's great to see them, go through and do that, because a lot of that's in us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where it come from, their parents or whoever in their family and their background that has those talents. But the one of the importance that I wanted to preach is like, hey, it's all fine and dandy for us to sit up here and give you the importance about being active and partaking in youth sports. But you can't do none of that if you don't get the grades.
That's right.
And that's one of the things I wanted to emphasize, and someone, commented who was there, young lady, she tagged me on Instagram saying, you know what, it's great to see that we brought you here to talk about youth sports, and you redirected the whole conversation into talking about academics.
Sure did.
She like, great job, and I appreciate her for acknowledging me for that, but I feel like that's my duty, because in order for you to have a chance to be able to go out there and participate in those sports,
right,
you got to have the grades. And regardless if your parent is pressuring you into doing that or not, that should be something that comes first.
Yes.
Because you can't do nothing or be nothing without the grades.
Yeah, one thing I brought up yesterday, if you remember too, was I was saying, look, as great as Santana was on the field, he got his education because just like today, he stands in front of you, his football career is over. Yeah. You got to have something to fall back on. I think that was an important message. Good point by you. While we're talking about the youths, I want to let you know I just purchased the first Nationals tickets for my son coming up in July. Now, my son, at this date in July, he'll be 11 months.
Wow.
So it got me to thinking, do you go to any Nationals games at all? Do you care about baseball? I know we don't talk about it on the show. I didn't know if you even care about it.
I'm a supporter of all the sports in the area, but I'm not a big baseball fan.
Right.
To be honest with you, I didn't play it growing up, didn't watch it growing up, but that I'm here. And just like when I was in New York, I support the clubs. Right. I supported the Yankees when I was in New York, supported the Mets, and now I'm here. The Nats, they're our team, and I support those guys. I had Max Scherzer on my show, Route 89, last year, and told him he's going to get another Cy Young. He did
sure
just
damn
that.
Did.
And I'm a fan of all those guys because I feel like it takes so much to be them. It takes a lot. Just knowing where I come from and who I was on my level, it takes a lot to be them. And they have to be special to go out there and do what they do every week. So I do support them. I've been to a couple of games this year. I'm looking forward to going to some more games. I'm not one of the guys that look up the schedule and say, I need to be there,
Right.
When I get offered, I don't say no. I don't say no. So, I'm giving a little hint. Give me another offer. Say you got a ticket for me, I'll be there,
Well, from the baseball diamond to the gridiron of football, time now for Santana State of the Skins. All right, Tana, Alex Smith said, this team is built to win right now. There is no rebuilding process. Is he right?
I think there's some truth behind that because that was one of the things that I alluded to when it came down to what was the reason of them bringing Alex Smith in.
Right.
I felt the team felt that in order for us to win now, we need to bring someone that's polished and that's ready to play now, a veteran quarterback. We can't take a chance on these draft picks and hope that we get one to land in our hands or to move up and try to get one. We need a guy that's able to come in here and take on this load that we're going to present him with and be able to, keep things going afloat. And I think Alex Smith was the best option out there available. Not to say that he was only picked because of that, but I also feel like if you didn't have a Kirk Cousins coming back,
right,
Alex Smith was, to me, can be a Kirk Cousins times two.
The next best thing.
The next best thing. So, and that's no shade to Kirk because I think Kirk did a terrific job when he was here and to what everything he was given. He did his job. But I do believe there's some truth behind that. Now, you still have to go out there and play the game.
Yeah. Yeah, no question. Now, as camp is looming,
yeah,
I mean, we're a month out. What's the biggest question for you as we sort of get close to that time?
The biggest question would be, can Alex Smith pick up where Kurt left off?
Right.
And that's not to say that Kurt left off and saying they was a winning team. They didn't. But can he surpass what Kurt did, honestly? People going to want to see Alex top what Kurt did. Because they're going to say, and that's how fans are. They're going to judge you off of saying that, okay, Kurt did this. Now you have to be better because we already seen Kurt play well and lose.
Right.
You have to play well and win. And that's not going to be all Alex's fault. They're going to have to lean on that defense and hope the defense got better.
Yeah.
Lean on those coaches and hope the coaches are coaching better. Everything together is going to pretty much help Alex be Alex. But they don't, as fans and as critics, as analysts, you don't necessarily give all that to the team. You put that pressure on the quarterback.
Right.
So Alex got to come in here and win. That's going to be the thing that we're going to want to see. That's going to be the question. Can he come in here and win? Because everything seems to be in order from last year. You might have a couple of missing guys here and there, but I assure you that those guys wasn't starters. Most of them wasn't starters. Mostly everybody that started is coming back, and we got better in some areas.
Yeah.
So now it's going to say, can Alex win with these guys?
See, to me, I agree with you, and I think a lot of that can be measured statistically. The thing you can't measure statistically is, can Alex come in and be a leader?
Yeah.
And I think, and I don't know if this was fair or not, you would know more than me, but it felt to me in covering that team like Kirk was never really looked at as a leader. And that was one of the things that the organization sort of knocked him for, quite frankly. So I wonder if, because Alex is a veteran, kind of been there, done that, this is his third franchise now, I wonder if the leadership qualities will be placed on him more so than it was a Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
Is that fair to
that's
say?
fair. That's fair. And I'm pretty sure he's going to take on that role regardless. He's just that type of quarterback.
He's that kind of guy.
He's that kind of guy. And don't knock Kurt for not being a vocal guy and being that guy that had that spoke out. Everyone doesn't have that in them. I've been a guy numerous of years that people say, Tanner, speak now. And I will speak because you asking me. But I won't just sit out there and just go to yelling and telling someone what he needs to do. You a grown man. You need to know that already. I know that enough to go out here and do my job, so you should do the same thing. But when asked upon, I would do so. When they told me you have the floor, say what you need to say, everything that I was thinking I said because you gave me the floor. But I never went out my way to go do that. I would knock on you and tap you on your shoulder and say, come here, let me holler at you. But I wasn't a rah-rah guy, and I think that what Kurt was. People kind of misinterpret that leadership role. You don't have to be vocal and be a leader. You can go out there and lead by action. And I think Kurt did that by his playing well, and he didn't want to get up in guys' face because he didn't feel like he needed to. A lot of those guys he respected enough to say, hey, do your job.
Absolutely.
And if you do your job, we should be able to go out here and win.
Leadership in many different ways. Time now for story time with Santana. Listen up. He's got a story to tell. All right, Tanner, we talked about our Fair Play Day with the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Washington and Southeast yesterday. You said something when we were talking to the kids that I wanted you to elaborate on here on your podcast. You talked about your time with Boys and Girls Club when you were a young person. So talk about that and how it impacted your life.
I mean, honestly, I spent a few years there, a few summers there at the Boys and Girls Club, Northwest Boys Club down in Miami, Florida. And I remember I look forward to every summer that I got a chance to participate because that was my time with my cousins. That I stayed in my grandmother's house at the time. And even when we moved right behind her, it was still grandmother's yard. We were still in the same. It felt like we didn't move too far. We was just in the efficiency in the backyard instead of being in that house with everyone, to make some room. But that was my time with my older cousins who I looked up to the most, that I felt that I wanted to be just like those guys. I wanted to participate in what they was participating in. I wanted to roll with those guys. I was younger, so young then at the time that, anytime I got a chance to hang with them, I appreciated it. And they was going to the Boys and Girls Club at the time, and I got a chance to go with them. And I remember those days of, catching that bus there, and that was time well spent. I remember those walks after we get off that bus. We crossed 79th Street. And I mean, not 79th Street at the time, that was 7th Ave. We crossed 7th Ave, and we walked down that long street just to get to the Boys Club. And I cherish those moments. And I remember not just those moments getting there, but the moments of meeting all these new friends and people that you probably, to this day, they remember you because of that experience of sharing those summers with you and stuff like that.
That's cool, man. I just hearing you tell that story and seeing those kids look up at you, man, that was a great moment for me as your friend, too, because obviously I had heard about you. You had told me you playing when you were younger, but I didn't realize the impact of clubs like that. All right, time now for Tana talking DMV. All right, Tana, what's the best sporting event and or concert that you've been to in the DMV?
It's hard,
That's
man.
tough, ain't it?
It's tough because I believe I played in some of the best sporting events here.
Whoa.
I mean, let's be honest. You know, the Redskins had some of the better games here that, you know, that I didn't get a chance to enjoy. I was out there. I enjoyed it probably from my performance-wise playing in them, but didn't get a chance to really watch it like as a fan.
Right.
But I would say this. It's two games stick out the most to me. Two events. One game and one event. I went to, I'm a big fan of LeBron James.
Mm-hmm.
You already know that. I heard the Cavs was coming in town. We was playing the Cowboys that weekend. So it was a Friday. Everybody said, hey, we going to the Cavs game. I went outside my box and said, you know what? Excuse me, I would get floor seats.
Oh, boy.
I'm going to get 4 seats just to see LBJ. I want to see LeBron James. I want to go out there and see this guy go out there and do his thing. And he's one of these guys I want to see close up. I tell you to this day that after that game, I didn't get floor seats again because I had another fan walk past me and the ball came out of bounds and everyone ran into me. And I was like, you know what, this is the last time I will sit down here. But that was one event that I can say that I enjoyed. LeBron went off.
Yeah, of course he did.
But the event that stand out the most to me, and I went to many concerts in the area, you name it, from the JMB, from Future coming in town with Migos, Kendrick Lamar's, Chris Brown concert stood out the most.
Wow.
He had DC Young Fly to host the show.
Yeah.
First of all, DC Young Fly is an Instagram guy that started on the Instagram. Mm-hmm. He's a comedian that everyone seems to think he's similar to the old Chris Rock, the young Chris Rock. I mean, not Chris Rock, but Chris Tucker. My bad. I take that back. My bad. DC Young Fly is calling you Chris Rock. But no, he has similarities of the old Chris Tucker. And he was able to host this event and show you his humor and some of the jokes and then put on performances with his singing and rapping ability. And then Chris Brown came out and put everybody to sleep.
Wow.
Not put everybody to sleep because the show was love. No, he really made you that exhausted with watching him, standing up, cheering for him.
Wow.
Until when I had to be rolled home. Like, look, you drive. I'm gonna go to sleep because I was exhausted. He put on.
He's got a lot of hits, man.
He put on the show. And Chris Brown, you know, he's that R&B thug. You know, R. Kelly called himself the R&B thug, but no, that's Chris Brown. That's what I look at. Chris Brown's like the R&B Tupac. You know, he's that bad boy. He's that boy that everybody loves to hate, you know, and at the same time you love him, you know. So he was a show that I enjoyed, and I'm looking forward to it. It's a summer filled with a bunch of shows coming back, so I'm looking forward to experiencing some more.
I got to get to some myself. Chris Brown's one of those throwback guys who can sing and dance. You know, it's a total show. So
back in the day, we used to hate the guys that know how to dance. Oh, you sucker.
And he pretty too.
And now I wish I could dance and sing. Boy, I would. Boy, you give me that gift. Boy, I'd be moonwalking and everything else across the stage. You hear me?
It ain't too late, Tanner. We can go on the road.
It's late. It's too late. It's too late. That bus done passed.
Time now for What We Watchin'. All right, Tanner, I'm going to catch up on what you watching, but I just want to say I have tapped out on 2 shows. I finally caught up with Atlanta Season 2 on my DVR.
It was weird, wasn't it?
Hated it.
It was weird this year.
I'm tapping out. I'm done with Atlanta.
Now, being a fan of Childish Gambino.
Yes, me too.
I stayed alert just watching it, but it was weird this year.
It was weird. I'm done with that show. Also, caught up on Westworld Season 2. Hated it. Tapping out. I'm out on that show too. Westworld.
I'm not familiar with Westworld.
Don't be. It's a waste of your time. Atlanta and Westworld, you are dead to me. Now, I will say this. Power starts this weekend. Yes. Yeah.
Is it this weekend?
It's this weekend, Sunday. How about that?
Damn, it's that quick.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, I'm ready.
I'm ready, too. Now, that's a show. So, in future podcasts, we could talk about Power because that's one we watch together.
Power, one of them shows where they give you a chance to watch it early on Saturday night, and you be like, I ain't gonna do it because tomorrow I ain't gonna appreciate it how everybody else gonna appreciate it. And then I hate all the friends that do watch it Saturday night. They be like, boy, you seen Power? Now, how did I see Power when it's supposed to show today?
Right.
Well, man, I thought you had On Demand, man. I watched it last night. So I want to know who I'm going to be this year when it comes to watching that. You anticipate Power like no other show. You want to watch it early, but I'm going to probably try to,
hold on.
Make sure I'm busy on Saturday night so I don't have to worry about watching it.
Bro, my only beef with Power, at some point, St. Patrick has to, almost die or something. Like, he's just, they call him Ghost for a reason because he's got 9 lives. I don't think he needs to die, but, man, I'm tired of him getting out of jams, man. He got to get jammed up a little bit more.
He's Ghost.
Yeah, that's why they call him that for sure.
He's Ghost. Now, just to get to what I watched this week, I watched the show On Demand. I guess it just came out of theaters recently. It had John Cena.
Oh, yeah?
Wrestling champion.
So like Blockers or something?
Blockers.
Was that funny?
Bro, hilarious.
Okay, I'll watch that.
Hilarious.
I'll watch that.
And it's a great show because if you have kids and daughters and they ever get to that moment when they're those last stages of high school,
prom, right?
Going to prom. The show was about these parents that was, all close because their kids was close and their kids was going to prom. And one of the parents just so happened to stumble across one of their daughter's laptop that was open and the text messages came through. And the girls had formed a sex pack. They was finna get that flower taken, and I guess I can share that with you on this podcast. And I want to say some other things, but I'm going to be PG with you, And the parents was like, oh, no.
Not on my watch.
No, not on my watch. And they went out their way to make sure that they didn't allow that. And it was funny, though. It was
all right, I'll check
hilarious. It's one of those shows that I like to watch. It's one of those movies I like to watch because it had so much humor in it. And you didn't think, you know what? I tip my hat off to people that you don't put in those situations, but John Cena is a very funny guy. Like, you look at him and his role, and he's an actor, a good actor, because we know the WWF and we know what it is to this day. At the end of the day, we pay to see these guys act.
Yep.
Fake blood and all. We pay to see that. We love to see the WWEF, you name it, whatever it is that you like growing up wrestling wise. We pay to see it. But you never see these guys in front of the big screen like The Rock and Cena. And to see them be able to play on different roles like that, acting, serious, action, you name it. To see him in this role, playing the father and playing the role he took, it was interesting, but it was also humorous. And I applaud him for his role.
All right, I'm going to check it out. I remember seeing the previews and thinking it looked funny, so I'll check that out. All right, let's finish strong, Tanner, with Finish the Sentence. All right, Tanner, let's go here. Helping kids in the community makes me feel.
Helping kids in the community makes me feel like I made a difference. Honestly, you can't help everybody. You're not going to make a difference in everyone's life or household, but knowing you touch one gives me that assurance that I made a difference. And if I can touch one, I did my due. I feel like I've reached somebody that I can ultimately change what their perspective was or what their situation is.
The greatest lesson football has ever taught me was?
The greatest lesson that football have ever taught me was to get up and do it again. That's life in a nutshell, and I say this time and time again. Football has allowed me to know that just because you got knocked down, tackled, you took a loss, you get a chance to do it again. It's no end to that. Until that clock says 0-0. Football, we know we got 60 minutes to do it.
That's right.
You got 60 minutes to do it. You got another chance to score. You ain't got to tackle this play, but you got a whole different play that we're going to run to give you that chance to get into that end zone. That's life. Until you say it's 0-0-0, and that 0-0-0 in life is when them eyes shut.
Yeah.
And they shut for good. You got another chance to do it. So that's what the lessons I take from football. I have another chance to get up and do it again.
The best advice a coach or teammate ever gave me was?
Oh, man. Now, I'm going to check this one off right here because the best advice I got from a coach was a quote. And his quote was, opportunity favors the prepared. My head football coach in high school, that was his quote. Opportunity favors the prepared. And what I took from that quote, not to say that it's the right or wrong way to look at it, But I took that as long as I'm prepared, as long as I put and commit my time and efforts into getting prepared to be sharp for what I have to do, my task, regardless of the circumstance or the situation, the outcome,
Yep.
I'm prepared for it. I'm prepared to go out there and win. I might take an L, but as long as I gave it my all, then I can deal with that and I can live with that. And then another thing I take from it is when he says that opportunity favors the prepared, is that as long as you're ready, there's no need to be ready. No need to get ready. When that coach give you that knock, you hear me knocking? Yeah, let me in then.
Right.
It's your time. So that's how I look at it. And I have two views of that. And to this day, it lived with me. It's crazy how people can make an impact in your life. And this coach, I can't stop talking about him because my daily walk is the makeup of how my coach preached to us every day before we got out there to go out there and weight training or touch that field. Everything he preached to us, I see me living and doing that walk to this day.
Opportunity favors the prepared. Here on the Santana Moss Show podcast, episode 12 in the books. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play. We're on YouTube, Santana Moss Show YouTube. Hey, man, y'all need to go ahead and subscribe. Give us the 5-star review. This podcast is off the hook.
We ain't asking.
We ain't asking.
But we asking.
What you say? You hear me knocking? Let me in.
Well, let me in then.
Travis Thomas, Santana Moss. It's a Rizzo.
It's a Santana Moss Show. Number 89, hustle all the time. Travis on the right, hot mic on the left. Every single week, it's a lyrical.